Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PCCS's emPower Hour. Today, we have a special guest co-host with us. Kevin could not make it today, so my name is Alyssa Kevin, and we have with us
Johanella Stewart,
our outreach specialist here at PCCS. So today is our SIDDC episode, and with us today we have Donna Long and Barbara Devaney, co-chairs of the Advocacy Committee of the Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council, and we also have with us today Janine Long, self-advocate, here to talk about the importance of advocacy, the importance of voting, and why we should be using our voice. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for hosting.
Absolutely. So to get started, can we get a brief introduction from everyone? Tell us a little bit about you, your professional experience. That would be great.
Go ahead, Barbara. Barbara Devaney. I recently retired after 24 years with Community Resources. I'm a parent. My son Michael is 39. I've worked in the field, not-for-profit field. I worked for the hospital before this. I worked for an agency in Brooklyn. So I've been involved in the field for a long time, and I've co-chaired the Advocacy Committee with Donna for, I guess, about 20 years.
Wow. And Donna?
I'm Donna Long. I am co-chair with Barbara of the Advocacy Committee, mother to Janine Long, who is 43 years old. I am presently the Director of External Affairs at Crossroads Unlimited, Inc. I retired as an exec director of an agency about 3-4 years ago. And I've been in the field and advocating for 40 years and been the co-chair of advocacy, I'm going to say about 34 years. So we've been around and we continue to ensure that the services and programs are available to individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities.
Absolutely. Thank you both. And
Janine, I want to say, just excuse me, both Barbara and I are past chairs of the Staten Island Developmental Disabilities Council.
Thank you both. And Janine, do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Janine Long. I'm 43, avid voter, and I don't know.
And you're here to share your story, share your voice.
Yeah, share my short story, how important it is about voting.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Janine. So thank you, all three of you, for joining. So let's get started. Can we talk a little bit about what the importance for young parents to better understand the political environment, being in the disability community? In your opinion, what do you think is best?
Best as far as getting involved, which is extraordinarily important, especially in the times we're in. We have been for the past 10 years, and Barbara, jump in or correct me, for the past 10 years have been in very, very challenging times. And we have not gotten the support from our oversight agency during that time. And so parents need to be aware of what is going on and what is the future of services for their child, their loved one. Exactly. And it's critical because, things can just continue and we have seen the erosion of services and the dismantling of services, and it has been very disheartening to us who have been around for an extended length of time and been involved in the advocacy movement to ensure that the programs and services are there, and not only to sustain the programs and services, but to expand them.
Right.
And because the needs keep growing, more and more children get diagnosed, which means more and more services are needed, and things are at a standstill. I mean, we could use residential as an example. The residential development hasn't moved forward in 10 years,
8 years, 9
maybe?
years.
Yeah, I mean, the wait list or the crow list is very extensive, and it's very problematic. And I know for myself, it's a very frightening time. And so we need to be engaged, informed, and educated.
Right. And we need to bring all our concerns to our local elected officials, especially the state ones, who can have some influence on that. But it's important for young parents to get, I mean, I know there's a lot for young parents to deal with when their child is first diagnosed, and you think you have time to do all this stuff, but it's a very different atmosphere than when Janine and my son Michael were growing up. Like, you know, even though OPW has come up with the person-centered mantra and choice, the choices are very limited now.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a million choices. And it starts when children are very young. In fact, there's something that went out this morning talking about getting involved and signing on. It went out from several people, but it's about the education in the 453 schools and how we haven't had a raise. And I actually clicked on and answered, and you can put your own thing. I talked about the school that Michael went to when he was diagnosed when he was 3, which is no longer in existence because of funding. You know, what a great difference it made for him. So.
Absolutely. I think it's so funny that you mentioned, Barbara, that you actually clicked on the email, you received the email, you clicked on it, and you actually put in some input. Yeah. Can you guys talk a little bit about, you know, we are very inundated at this point. A lot of things are virtual. A lot of things, people are sending emails. Everything is so digital. Can you explain the importance of when you receive emails from organizations, from just anywhere saying, please share your story, click here to sign this petition? Can you explain a little bit about why that's so important as well?
I think it goes back to what we said prior, the fact that voices need to be heard. And it's so easy to click now.
Right.
It's
don't have to put a
beautiful thing. You just click. And
you get a link.
It's critical. And even if we ask family members, advocates to write letters, even if we ask to make phone calls, the more people who do that, the better it is. The volume is very, very important.
What they say, the squeaky wheel.
Exactly. I remember years and years ago, prior to these one-click method of doing things, and a legislator said to me, because we would encourage our families to either A, make phone calls or B, fax. And fax was a main thing because they hated getting all that paper. And so an elected one time just said, would you tell them to stop faxing? And we just need people to continue with that. Don't feel that, oh, somebody else is going to do that.
Right.
Because that's not a good attitude to have. It's not going to help anybody. So we encourage you to make sure when you get that email to act on it. You know, you're only helping your child and other individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities. And that's key. We need to join together and be one voice and be a cohesive group that makes sure that our messages are heard.
Absolutely. I know you guys were mentioning too, like getting familiar with the entirety of the political environment. So when we are, as a community, fighting for our rights, advocating for funding, who exactly should it be that we are targeting our efforts to? Because there are a lot of people that are in the political hierarchy. So who exactly is it that we should be talking to?
Well, I guess first the governor.
The governor
first. Then, you know, elected officials, I mean, our local elected officials are state people. So would be these, you know, our 2 senators, Senator Lanza and Senator Savino. Our assembly people, Mike Cusick, Michael Riley, and Charles Fall.
And Michael Tanusis.
And then we have city count, but it's usually not the city that influences what goes on in Albany with OPW, because OPW is our regulating agency. So everything kind of goes through them.
That's great.
And I think just to give a little history, we used to have what we called at the time our legislative breakfast, which was an annual breakfast whereby providers, parents, advocates, self-advocates, and local legislators would get together. Each borough does their own, and we would, and Barbara is brilliant at writing the position paper for that, and with expressing our needs, our concerns, etc. And legislators would attend, and they would have to get up and respond to the concerns that were addressed at the breakfasts. And I don't recall exactly when, maybe Barbara will, when we stopped calling it our legislative breakfast and decided to call it
7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Call it,
7 years ago.
a community breakfast. And so our borough still to this day calls it community breakfast. Other boroughs call it legislative breakfast. And unfortunately, with COVID, we were not able to do it in person for the past 2 years. And last year, we did it jointly with the other boroughs, and we had a citywide legislative breakfast. But our legislators attended that. Our local legislators did attend that breakfast, which was a citywide. And going back, we started a quarterly legislative update meeting.
Right.
And our advocacy group would meet with our local legislators and inform and educate them as to, again, the needs and concerns in our field. And just 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, it started to be, again, because we're virtual.
Yeah, last August.
Yes, a weekly virtual legislative meeting. And it's been really good. And the fact it was weekly was because one of the legislators suggested it be weekly. We were going to do it once a month, every other week. And he said, why not do it weekly?
Right.
And I know it's been helpful for us as advocates, and I think it's been very, very beneficial for them as well, because they're constantly in the loop as to what is going on.
And what's affecting some of their constituents, or a great deal of their constituents.
Exactly. And when they were able to get OPWDD representatives to join our meeting, they've had the chair of the IDD committee, at the time it was Aileen Gunther, join our meetings. And so
they had the speaker join ones called Heasty.
So it's a great collaborative effort with them and us, working. And now with the new governor, we had past experiences with the past governor that were not beneficial to us. But this new governor, we hope and pray, is more receptive to what's going on. And just yesterday, a new acting commissioner, Carrie Neifeld, was appointed, and yesterday was her first day. So we hope that we could have a better ally with OPWDD than we've had in the past decade, The past decade, I'd say. An ally with us where they're transparent and they engage in conversation with us and truly understand where we're coming from.
Parents and both the agencies. It was good to read her. She sent out a letter yesterday, so we can somehow get that out to everybody.
Absolutely.
But she did mention the workforce, and she did mention the voluntary providers, which is not, it's recognized, because we're kind of shoved on the side. The state people got a raise, we didn't. So
there's some hope now.
Realize
So we
that
think
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I guess we could say cautiously optimistic.
Good.
You know, I think that's the best way to tread right now until we get a better feel for the direction that this will go. But nothing
Can't be worse.
Can't be worse than what it was. And so, and hence the reason why advocacy is so important.
Right.
Because in bad times, it's important, but also in good times, because they need to hear, like right now, as
What
Barbara
works.
just alluded to, the workforce crisis is really the number one priority. And I think every aspect of an agency is impacted by the workforce crisis.
Right.
And there was just a rally on this past Tuesday that was coordinated with a group of statewide advocates. And it was well attended, and numerous individuals who receive services were there as well. And some local legislators were there. And it's just important that people see that presence of unity and collaboration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Janine, I'm going to focus on you a little bit. Can you tell me, so as a self-advocate, why do you feel that advocacy is so important?
You know, to get your voices heard and everything. And, you know, just go out there and, like, vote. You know?
Yeah, so I know prior to us going live, we were talking about how passionate you are about voting and why it's so important for people to know that their civic right to go out there and vote. Can you tell us a little bit about like your experiences, maybe some conversations that you've had with others about voting?
Well, me and my friends, we go on this video chat either during the week or during the weekends, and like prior to election day, like they're like, oh well, you know what, my parents are gonna go vote. Oh, my mom is gonna go vote. I'm like, wait a minute, you could vote. You could do that yourself. You could register. Just all you have to do is like register to vote, get your voices heard, and you tell a friend and another friend and another friend and another friend. It's kind of like a domino effect. Like to go out there and vote. You know?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much. So, Janine, were you at the rally on Tuesday?
No, but I did see the pictures on social media on Facebook.
Oh, great. Great. So have you been to rallies in the past?
I think a few actually.
So you've been to visit legislators because I had.
Yes, I've been to.
That's right.
You with Senator Lanza, and my son Michael, a whole bunch. You know, we went up there and met with him.
The governor. You know, like.
What was that like?
It was pretty cool though. Like to get no matter what, you got to get your message heard. You know.
Absolutely. That's really brave of you too, because there's a lot,
down, you know. No matter if it's the right foot or the left foot or both feet.
Love it. I love that. I love that. So, yeah, I mean, I really love you guys really kind of answered all of my questions, but so being that now politicians have been elected, this year's election is over, what can we do next? What's the next steps, even though, because we can't just stop here, what do we think is the next step for us?
Well, it's to get to know them, to get to know what they stand for, and to contact them. If you have an issue, feel free to contact them. They're on the island. Call them up. They all have, very good representatives
if they listen.
Office.
That's the main thing. If they listen,
if they get enough phone calls, they'll listen.
Yeah,
the guy approaching them, they will listen. And that's really the important part of it all, especially again when things go out and they ask people to sign on or join this or make a phone call. Just do it. It takes 5 seconds. And the more people they hear from, the better.
Absolutely.
It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be easier. And join the council. Right. Become part of the council. Become a member of a committee. Because you can't sit back and complain about things if you're not part of a process that makes solutions, makes changes. And,
And
it's
there's so much information to be gained,
right.
from, the different people that are involved in the council, from providers, to other family members. There's just like a lot of information. There's networking, just to reach out. You may have an issue and you don't think that anybody else has that issue, but if you bring it up there, you might find somebody that can help you with it.
Absolutely.
It's a great resource. It's a great resource, and also a means of support. Like
Right.
Barbie just mentioned,
You're
it's
not
a
in this alone.
great means of support, that you're not alone with, maybe how you're feeling or where to go. I mean,
Right.
there's a number of committees that help in all different areas. There's something for everybody.
Right.
And it can't be easier, again, because we're virtual right now. And so you just need to sit in your house and join on the meetings. And there's speakers. There's a presentation at
Right.
each monthly meeting. And, the more you know,
Yeah.
the better things are. The better
Absolutely.
things are. The more you know, the more you keep yourself in the loop, educated and engaged, the more it is. And once again, because you can't sit back and think somebody else is going to do it for you.
Absolutely. I think the fact that it is virtual now makes it even more convenient to be a part of the general council meeting. So we did put in the comment section the website to join the SIDDC, and where there's a calendar of upcoming general council meetings. So on Fridays, 9:30 a.m. There's not much of an excuse there. You should be there, being that it's on Zoom. So before we wrap up, we did get a comment from our viewers. So we do want to just read that out to everyone. So Maritza says that we need to show the public that the disabled families need help, as well as the disabled families needs help, as well as the family. Families can't always fight for the rights of a person with special needs if they don't know what's out there for them. Since the day my daughter was born, I turned into an advocate and opened many eyes and doors for family who needed help, as well as creating different activities for the severely disabled. So, I guess saying that families need to be advocates, but so do the people that receive services need to be self-advocates as well. And finding your voice is the most important. So I know,
Right.
Janine, what did
Yes.
we say before we logged in? That we have to find our voice, and why?
Hey,
How do we do that?
like in Nike, just go do it. Just go
There
do
it is. Just
go
do it.
Election day, just go run over to the polls and just like get out there and get your voices heard and vote.
I love it. I love that energy. Well, ladies, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today and talking about, the current climate that we're in. And it's always a pleasure hearing from you guys and your past experiences as well. So just want to take that moment and thank you and thank our viewers, as I see we are still getting some comments coming in. And for those who are tuning in, please join the General Council. Our good friend Marissa was unable to attend today to talk about the importance of joining the council, but she does have a message for us to say, please visit our website at www.siddc.org to stay informed on changes and supports and services for your loved ones and upcoming meetings and events. The next General Council meeting is next Friday at 9:30 a.m. So feel free to join on a little earlier at 9 a.m. with any questions, and we hope to see you there. So with that said, thank you, Donna, Barbara, and Janine.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
have
Have a good day.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Okay. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.